The Buddha was a trainer of human beings. Both people who were monks and nuns and laymen and laywomen came to him hoping that he could give them advice on not just how to live better and become a more well-balanced human being, but to attain the lofty spiritual states. So he was we would say, a trainer of human beings. And on one particular occasion, monks came to the Buddha and said, well, that other monk over there is really bad-tempered. He's bad-tempered with everybody. Why should that be so? He's meditating, he's decent, he's sincere, he has faith. And in response to, and trying to explain why that could happen, the Buddha used a very interesting simile. He said, imagine that a man gets 6 animals, a snake and a crocodile, a bird and a dog, a jackal and a monkey, and he tethers them together with a strong rope, and then he lets them free. And he said, well, immediately what would happen is the bird would try to fly to the sky, the snake would try to crawl into a hole in the ground, the crocodile would try to go into the river, the dog would want to go into the forest, the jackal would want to go into the charnel ground, that's the sort of the cemetery. And the monkey went up, tried to climb up the tree. And as a consequence of this, each of these creatures were pulling in a different direction, wanting to escape from the others and get to a place of safety that they were familiar with, the hole, the river, the forest, the tree, and so on. But as they struggled and struggled, eventually they became weaker and weaker, more tired, and the one who was the strongest, which in this case happened to be the crocodile, he pulled them all in his direction as he went into the river. Now, what's the purpose of this story? Well, first of all, it's a rather funny story if you sort of think about it, but you might say that our minds and our character, our inner life is a little bit like that. We have multiple emotions, desires, impulses, needs, etc. Some very strong, some less so, some very developed, some less developed, etc. And inevitably, if we don't develop the strength of some of them, the strongest one might dominate the others. So, for example, I might have a strong faith in the Buddha's teachings. I might have a good meditation practice. But it may also happen that I have a very fragile ego. I get easily upset and hurt by people's comments. Or I may have a proclivity to be very, very angry very easily. Or whatever, maybe I have very strong desires for sex or food or something like that. And if I am unaware of the strength of that particular aspect of my character, it may lead me astray. It may, when I'm not aware enough or when I'm not diligent enough, it may lead me in that direction. So what can we do about this? Well, you might say a part of understanding our inner life, and hopefully through meditation, we can get to know the best and perhaps the least nice aspects of our character. And those ones that might be harmful, that may lead us astray, despite ourselves, we should try to identify. You might say we must try to identify our crocodile, the strongest, the most dangerous, or the most unhelpful for our spiritual practice. Not deny it, not cover it up, not pretend that it is no longer there, but to see it as it really is. Then if we do that, at times when we're unaware and that strong emotional impulse or need arises, we can see it and watch it and prevent it from leading us astray. So we might say that the whole of the practice using this simile is getting to know your crocodile. Now, it may be that your problem is not a crocodile. Maybe you have a bird, a really beautiful bird, and he happens to be very strong, and so it prevents those other impulses from taking over. But in most people's cases, and according to this simile, it's the negative ones that we have to watch out for. Get to know your inner life. Be honest and see what is really there, and gradually try to come to terms with it. This would be a very wonderful thing that you can do with the help of your meditation, perhaps with the help of your Kalyana Mitra, who can maybe point out things about yourself that you're unaware of, and then you can gradually get to know your crocodile and keep him well and truly in check.